All right, so you ready to make a really fun, upcycled, scrappy tree? Then you should come to AndreaCurrieCrafts.com and also watch this video. We're always on YouTube. We're always updating our Facebook. So please make sure that you check this out because it's a little bit longer of a demo. Totally worth it. Let's rock on over to Craft Cam and we'll show you what we're talking about, all right? Getting our Mod Podge out. All right, so main ingredient here is our Mod Podge. I'm a lot like Samantha Starr, who says she likes to get messy. I actually take my Mod Podge right out of the container. Usually when it's fuller I do that, but I'm also going to be doing that tonight. So you'll be seeing me dip my little foam brush in there. I'm also using a foam cone here. You'll see towards the top I actually have ripped off some sequins from the top. This is almost partially done because my husband is awesome and that is what he does. He helps me finish my projects. So for this one I'm using foam. You can use foam, or if you find some compressed cardboard, I actually have some compressed cardboard cones that I had for my original project, so you can use that as well. This is actually a good project that will transfer onto other things like wreaths or ornaments or something like that, and I definitely encourage you to use up those fabric scraps that you've been saving, because I know you guys like to hoard your fabric scraps. Hey, I'm not trying to say it's a bad thing, because you can actually use them towards the end of the year. If you don't have any fabric scraps, you can do this with paper as well. It's kind of like this fun collage technique. And also, don't discount the fact that you can go through your your closet and find an old dress like this one that I use in a lot of my projects. Don't mind my crazy fingers. And cut those apart and then use that as well, because, you know, you're probably never going to use them again. And they lend themselves to be really fun colors that you already like because they're in your closet for a reason, right? You like them. So what I did was I cut up about 3 different types of fabric. You'll see I kind of have this little Hawaiian crazy flower theme going on. These are the 3 different types here. This is from a dress. This is from just Joann's Fabrics. I love that. And then this is actually from an antique store that I got this whole ream of fabric in this color. And then you just cut them up into various shapes. Don't go crazy with trying to get them into specific shapes. I always tell people, you know, rule of 3 different shapes, so small, medium, and large, in all of these different patterns. And then you just take your Mod Podge in your project and you give it about 3 inches of thin Mod Podge. And you can go over your fabric that you've already put down, because you want them to overlap, and then you just throw on your pieces. They don't have to be in any particular order. In fact, when Cliff was doing this project and I was watching him do the project, he was asking me questions like, oh, do I have to line them up, and you know, how big do they have to be? And I just had to tell him, you know what, you've just got to let go. You just got to put them on there. I'll give you a few you know, pieces of advice, such as make sure that just, you know, keep in mind that having 3 different sizes is really good. Having 3 different patterns is always good as well. I always have the rule of 3s, if you couldn't already tell. And don't be afraid to get dirty. This is definitely a project where you are going to get Mod Podge on your hands, which I actually, creepy enough, I really like the feeling of dried Mod Podge on my hands. So don't laugh at me too hard. I know I'm totally weird. But, and if you want to, you'll see that, you know, it's going to get a little wrinkly, and Cliff did actually a really good job. He didn't realize that it's okay for it to get wrinkly, and he started to like really try and smooth it out when he was doing this bottom part, so it actually looks really darn smooth. But my original project actually doesn't have you know, perfect smooth, because I just didn't care for it to be perfectly smooth when I did it. And so it is wrinkly, and I didn't go over it again with more Mod Podge. I just left it as it was because it actually set up really nicely. And I just like kind of shabby chic. I don't know if you would call it that, but you guys can come up with your own awesome, brilliant ways of describing things because you're so good at it. I call it kind of shabby chic Christmas, Christmas trees, but holiday trees, if you might say. Like I said, this would be really good as wreaths and ornaments as well. And I have plenty of Mod Podge on here. If you have a satiny type of fabric that, you know, shiny type of fabric, you're going to find yourself actually wanting to go back over the fabric, because if you only kind of go over parts of the fabric, part of it's going to look wet and the other part's going to look dry, and it's just going to look kind of odd when it's dried. So you probably want to go over your shimmery type of fabrics fully so that it just kind of has that nice even look to it. I'm using a gloss luster Mod Podge on this. You can use any type you want. In fact, I am not known for not putting sparkles on things. I guess that was kind of a roundabout way of saying I probably will go over this with glitter Mod Podge. Right? I don't know why I had to go around, beat around the bush saying that, because we all know I love me some Mod Podge. You can leave this project just with the really cool layered fabric look, or you can add the little garland that you saw on the project that kind of spirals down it, and I'll show you how to do that technique. I'd imagine since you're all such creative people, you probably have other embellishment ideas as well. But I'm just going to finish off the top here and then show you the spiraled sort of garland that goes down it so that you can do that yourself or do your own embellishing technique. So this is the whole project here. You see some pieces, especially towards the top, are kind of coming off like this one. You could just Mod Podge this down if you don't want them to. But like I said, it's a cool, crazy, kind of collage-y, mosaic-y fabric piece, and you don't have to make it perfect if you don't want to make it perfect, but you can, like the bottom part here, like Cliff did. He did it such, look at how fun that is. I love these fabrics, and they're gonna be great because I love the dresses that I made this out of, so it's gonna be good memories. What I did for the garland was I took a contrasting yet coordinating sort of piece of satin. It sparkled, big surprise. I measured the diameter of the base of my cone here, and then I made a circle about 3 inches larger than the diameter so that once I cut out my spiral, it'll actually fall all the way down my cone here. Makes sense? All right, so most of you have probably made these spiral type of flowers before. And all you have to do is just start from the outside and just start cutting your way towards the inside. I'm leaving about an inch to a half inch to an inch of fabric as I'm going around. These scissors are just killing me. And you can tell I don't really care if the fabric's cut perfectly. I have little snags in it. That's fine with me. Kind of adds to what I call that shabby chic sort of look. Kind of that frayed edges, but again, totally your preference. And I'm just going to go all the way to the middle. And I might get a little impatient here with these scissors and freak out on them because I've been using them for general crafts and not for cutting fabric. You should always have separate fabric scissors, especially if you're into sewing. We all know that, but not me because I like to just have scissors laying everywhere. That's totally me. Okay, now the trick with this satin fabric is that I'm going to actually Mod Podge over the whole thing as I'm putting it onto the tree because I don't want it to have that half wet look, half not wet look. And you can see here, woo, look at that. I could wear it as like a little tiny boa. All right, so I'm going to just start at the top, and to give myself just a little bit more time and less frustration, I'm giving it just a little bit of warm glue because I have my hot glue gun on. And then quickly just place the center of that circle spiral right on the top. All right? All right. See, that's a good idea, to have scissors that say no paper on them. These are just for fabric. All right. So I'm just going to start giving the bottom part of my fabric a little bit of Mod Podge, and then it's starting to fall already nicely into place. I might have to force some of it down, force that fabric down, because it's going to want to pop up like a pretty kind of little tree here. But what I want to do is just kind of Mod Podge it around, and don't be shy with the Mod Podge. Just kind of get it going down there. Do not be shy with it. And then what we're going to do is essentially force it down on the sides, and then once it starts drying, you're actually going to kind of pucker it back up. Pucker back up, you little ribbon. And that way it'll all look even with the Mod Podge on it. and it will be kind of stiff, stuck onto your piece. And here, I'll try and get it the side view here. Stuck onto your piece, and then it will be easy to kind of fluff it a little bit, make it look cute. All right, I'm gonna try and go fast here just on the front part so that I can just give you guys the gist of it. You can see that I'm going around. Every bit of it has some Mod Podge on it, and that also gives that lower layer, or that under layer, some more Mod Podge as well. Gives it a little bit more sturdy, there. So I'm just gonna wrap it around and Mod Podge underneath it. I'm gonna continue wrapping. And if you want, you can wrap it all the way around and then begin your Mod Podging. But I'm just gonna wrap it around like so. And just show you how to quickly do that. All right, and to keep this video short, we're just gonna give you the gist of that, and then we're gonna show you the final piece with the cone that I did earlier here. What I did after I was done Mod Podging all the way around, I just fluffed up the pieces so that it kind of had that really neat little ruffly effect there. Oops, I just hit the microphone. And then you can go back to head cam and we'll finish that up. Don't forget, if you want to see more pictures and more videos, go to AndreaCurrieCrafts.com to find out more. All right, everybody, hope you liked the scrappy tree project.